Well, it's time to answer some of your email questions on today's program. Pat, this first one comes from Nancy, who says, someone I know asked me to pray for them because, without getting into particulars, they were worried that something bad was going to happen to them. I said that I was going to pray, but I completely forgot. Sure enough, that bad thing happened to my friend. Now I feel horrible. Did I sin by not praying? Should I tell my friend that I forgot to pray and that she may have avoided her situation if I prayed? What should I do?
Boy, you think your prayers have a lot of weight, don't you? I mean, but, you know, if somebody needs prayer and they ask for prayer and you say, yeah, I'll pray, and then you didn't pray. I think God does hear our prayers. I don't know. I can't go into all the details. I don't have all the details. But I think we have a responsibility to uphold one another and to pray for one another. And if somebody says, I'm facing a difficult situation, pray for me, I think to deny them that support is really wrong. You say, did you sin? I don't know if it's a sin. But,
you know, I don't think she did it deliberately either. I've had that happen in my life where I've told someone I'll pray, and then you get busy and you go along. And I started to make the habit of stopping and praying right then. Because otherwise, you know, life happens.
You know, I've had people say, you know, well, pray for my mother. All right, let's do it right now. You know, now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
All right, but okay.
Okay, this is Laura, who says, I've heard you talk about how Christians will be here during the tribulation. I've heard a pastor say that there will not be a second chance for sinners during the tribulation, and that those who aren't Christians when it starts are going to hell. What do you think?
I don't know. The Bible is very express about that. Clearly, when the Lord comes back, he's going to rapture people, catch them up to be with him. He's going to send his angels and gather elect from the four corners of the earth. That's what the Bible says. We look at the so-called pre-millennial, looks at the fact that there's going to be 1,000 years of peace. There are many things that are in the Bible that are veiled. We don't know what they are. So I think if there's a tribulation problem, if there's an Antichrist, there's going to be a time of massive delusion. And those who take the mark of the beast are going to be sucked up into this system, just like there was mass delusion in Germany under the Nazis. These wonderful people that brought forth Beethoven and Bach and Brahms and Handel, these same people were willing to slaughter the Jews and give power to this monster, Adolf Hitler. There was a collective confusion. That will happen under an Antichrist system. So to say they can't get saved, well, sure, there's always somebody who can come to the truth. So I don't think that's the case. But I do think that the chance of delusion is very strong during a period of like that.
This is Rachel, who says, can someone haunt you after you die?
No. I don't believe in all this haunting stuff. I don't believe in ghosts and goblins and all that.
It's over.
I believe in evil spirits. And I do believe that there are demonic, unclean spirits. The Bible talks about them, and there's no question about it. But I think that somebody's going to die and then come back and haunt you. No way. I don't believe that. I think that's superstition, and it's not biblical. All right.
This is Chasmar. This is an interesting question. He says, every night I pray for the suffering of those who may have lost the spiritual battle and are in hell for eternity. I realize that God does not make mistakes when he decides where people will spend the afterlife, but I can't help but think that people are being tortured with no hope. I ask God to somehow hasten their pain. Is it wrong for me to do that? And do you think it's even possible for it to happen?
You can waste prayers any way you want to. But let me tell you, you're not going to change the destiny of those who died and are in hell. The Bible teaches that very expressly. There's a great gulf between us fixed and their suffering, and it's just too bad. And Jesus said they've got Moses and they've got the prophets, and if they won't listen to them, they won't listen to somebody rose from the dead. So I think the idea of praying for the dead is just, it's nonsense. It's not going to have any effect. You say, well, if you want to spend your time doing it, you can do it. It's probably better than wasting your time at Starbucks.
He also says, I realize that God does not make mistakes when he decides where people spend the afterlife. We decide where we spend the afterlife by the choices we make.
Sure. Good word.
This is Jane who says, I like my job, but my boss has left her child with me to essentially be her babysitter while she runs errands during the day. It happens all the time, sometimes for 2 hours at a time. I don't feel as if I should be responsible for her child, and I certainly feel she's abusing our relationship. I would like to speak up and say something, but I'm afraid that if I complain, she'll tell me that I can quit if I don't like it. Do you think it's right?
What's she paying you for? Is she paying you to be a personal servant? Is she paying you to be a nanny? Or is she paying to be a salesperson?
Yeah.
What are you being paid for? If you're paying to attend to her personal needs, and that's what you're getting paid for. So take it. And
what was your agreement?
What was your agreement? And what is your understanding? It does sound like if she's working for a corporation and she's using corporation money and corporation employees to do her personal business, then it's like stealing. That's a totally different matter, but you don't give me enough information to find out.
Yeah, what she says, I think that this lady might own the business.
Well, if she owns the business, then that's what she's paying you for. She wants you to take care of her kid. So if you don't like that, you got to quit. Go get another job.
I agree.
Okay. I'm glad you agree. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Terry agrees. That seals it.
There you go.
All right.